Fishy here, and I've been made fun of for hunting down the trolls, finding fake and foreign profiles and reporting them to Facebook and tracking which ones get removed. And I understand that. People think I need a hobby or a life or to get a job or something, and that's okay. They're not really looking at what I'm looking at. They're not seeing what I'm seeing. But I wanted to walk through a few profiles and just show you how deep sometimes you have to dig to find out that they're sketchy, but also make a record of these particular accounts because I'm going to report them and I want to have it documented before Facebook tells me they're not breaking any terms of service. So here we go. We're going to start with James Anderson. This one came to my attention from something they posted in a group. Let's take a look at his photos. When we get to the profile photo, we've seen this before. This one has been used by one of the Sadmira Bibis in another video. But when we go through these photos, we really don't need much more than this to show that this is not necessarily James Anderson, as you say. The profile ID is just a bunch of numbers, so there's nothing really useful there. But when I started digging, this is what I found. The posts that James Anderson makes are American Voice, to different groups, the same post, and then a different post to different groups again. And all these are happening, 203, 202, 202. This is somebody just pasting links into these groups. And it's all from American Voice. We've looked at that one before. That's one of those Kosovo hubs. Somebody in that Kosovo hub is pushing this content with this American-looking name to get it past people's suspicion. And a whole bunch of posts. American Voice, the same post over and over in a bunch of different groups. This guy is spamming that content from American Voice into those groups. And we have another one to look at here. When he's commenting on photos, I can find him right here doing it in another language. So when Facebook tells me this guy's not sketchy, this is what I'm going to link them to. Now, the next one I found was Emily Bowden. Emily looks darling, nice friends and whatever. Let's look at her photos. We can see that the photos that she shares are just a few. Same person, though, over and over. So, they're trying to be consistent. When we look down at the likes and things like that, we might find some surprises here. Not sure. These look like they're centered around food. So, that would be something that might be legitimate. Somebody might have a lot of interest in liking restaurants in their area. That's not necessarily strange. But then we have these groups here that are kind of odd. A Bangladesh reference, things like that. But that's not as far as I went with Emily. I looked up her posts as well. And Emily's posts are sharing the same thing from World Alerts here and then Conservative Family News here. World Alerts again and World Alerts again. So that's who's behind that profile, World Alerts. And you can see this is over and over into different groups posting the same content, just like we saw James do. Deplorables for Trump post being shared, Conservative Family News, again, into all these different groups. So that's another profile that's paid to do that. And when I look at the places visited by Emily, I've got this one, which looks like, it's not going to let me zoom out, is it? Let's see. Where could this little town be? Oh, we're getting somewhere now. Where is this? Near Kathmandu. It's eastern part of India. And then we scroll down here and we can look at this one. In this place, find out where this one is. This one's right next to it. So She doesn't really probably live in or do any business in Philadelphia. I'm just saying. Here we have Christian Crockett, whose URL name is Zia Shaheen. That's not unusual. And when we look at the photos here, it's another young girl. Lots of pictures. Looks like a teenager or early 20s. But we're all over cricket. We are all over cricket and Karachi, and that's just too bizarre for me. I mean, I'm not buying it. Are you buying it? Urdu sad poetry. I don't know how many American teenagers or young 20s are into sad Urdu poetry, but it's possible. I'm certain. So I looked further, and wow, I don't know what happened to that link, so we'll keep going. Christian Crockett has the same kind of pattern, the same text. I voted and I'll vote for President Trump again in 2020. Give me a yes if you'll vote for him too. And over in different groups. This is somebody trying to gain trust in those groups. Here's, would you support Trump if he sent 8 million immigrants back? Give him a go if you do. Weird. And it's over and over in all these groups. 63 million peoples are support Donald J. Trump. Are you one of them? Yes, no. Again, feeding into those groups, trying to get people to believe it's okay to interact with this profile. That's another sketchy one. Meet Brenda Powell. Brenda looks pretty normal. If that is indeed all those photos are of Brenda. Brenda's got only a few photos here to show, but let's see what else Brenda likes here. And I'm making this a longer video simply because you just have to look through all these things. A lot of Trump-related groups, conservative-related groups, we expected that. And then some foreign language groups. That's not really typical. Don't expect to see those. But when I looked into her further in her posts, she posts for Rowdy Republicans. Now, Rowdy Republican is the group that's been on our fecal roster for their terrible stuff. And then Newly Press is another one that they're sharing. That's new to me. But sharing it into different groups, different conservative groups, the same message over and over. This is a pattern. Voice of US shared into all these different groups. So you can see who's behind that profile when you look at those things. When we look further and look for comments by Brenda Powell, we are able to find Brenda Powell posting on this picture, this comment. So, Brenda's not looking like she's a regular old red-blooded American to me. Here we have Isabel. And when we look at Isabel, photos, just a few of the same person. Really darling photos and everything. But we're into cricket again. Karachi and cricket and Islamabad, and I'm not buying it. I'm not. So I need you to see this too. Groups that don't jibe with what an American woman, young woman would be joining. Pages that don't jibe and groups that don't jibe. So we have, again, foreign language groups down here. That's not looking legitimate to me. But I went further, and I found her commenting in this language on this post. So, Isabel, you think she's looking legitimate? I don't. When I look at her posts, this is what she's sharing. World alerts. The same post, again, into different groups. Just like we've seen before. The same post, 7, 8 times, something like that. Conservative Nation post, 7, 8 times into different groups. This is the same pattern. You'll see it again here. World alerts on Diamond and Silk. 3 or 4 posts there. And then Conservative Family News. So there's a set of sites that she's spamming for. And that's what she's doing, feeding that content to all those people, thousands of people in those groups. Now we have Tamra Reed. Let's see what Tamra shares with his friends. Send him a friend request. I mean, do you need more? I'm not sure you do. I don't know how long somebody would go on their profile with that error and not notice it. So let's keep looking. Tamra Reed here. Only a few photos. Just a few. Groups, Trump related, and that looks like that's it. So what else can we find out about Tamra? When we comment on a picture and we tried to find it, deleted or removed. So don't know about that. That's the second time that's happened. I had that open just a few minutes ago. Here we go, though, with the posting for Tamra Reed. QuickDailyUpdates.com. Same thing over and over there. And then this content engagement bait. No matter what liberals say about Trump, I still support like I supported him in 2016. Comment yes if you also support him. Oh, that's a mouthful. So she posts that in several groups. A Peaceful World with Love's post, which is a Trump message here. A Peaceful World with Love again. So that may be a new page that they're trying to get established as a pro-Trump page. U.S. political updates again and again. This is the pattern over and over. The same posts by these particular profiles. That's not an accident. You will never find normal people posting the same message over and over in different groups on the same day at the same time, and then turning around and doing it again. That might be one thing you might want to spread, one thing that you might have that's really important to you that you want to share everywhere, but you don't do it as a habit, a pattern. That's not what normal people do on the internet. They have other posts interlaced there, and we're just not seeing that here. So I've looked at all of these profiles. We will go ahead and report them, and then I'll put them on the spreadsheet, and we'll get an update to see who else we can find and get removed. How many of these Facebook will say is legitimate? I'm betting that maybe 2 will get removed, but we'll see.